Welcome back, eSIM Studios. This is the eSIM Studios podcast, your daily tech news. It is, did I mention episode 19? I can't remember. It is episode 19, Friday, February the 9th, 2024. Bear with us as we kind of go through this. I'm going to keep these live streams on a regularly scheduled daily, right around 4 p.m. Central Standard Time. Try to do it every day. Now, some of you know, some of you don't know, my mother is in the ICU in the hospital, so I visit her every day, so the times this last week and probably the next couple weeks are going to be a little off and on depending on our start time, but whenever things work out and cross our fingers she's okay, we'll do these every day at 4. But let me get this out to our let me send the link out to social media, and we will get this rolling. I do have a couple of pretty interesting topics for today. As I was scouring the internet, let me make sure we're live. There we go. Okay. So, let's share this link out. And please share the podcast. We'll do news in the mobile technology field world. But we're also going to do unboxings. We're also it's not just going to be news, but for the time being it sort of is, but I'm going to do a live stream in the future. If you upgraded your device and you have a trade-in, I'm going to schedule that for next week. I'm going to show you, we'll do a live stream and then I'll upload it as a regular video, so if you missed it you can always go back and watch the replay of this live stream, or you can watch the video of how to trade in your device properly, so you don't get blamed. Because look, whenever you buy a new phone and you have a trade-in, you're always worried about the device, the trade-in device getting lost, right, in the mail or stolen. It's a nightmare. We have a special process we've been kind of cultivating for years, and it actually saved us twice. Now, we purchase a lot of devices. All the devices, well, minus this S24, but all the devices that we have, minus this one, we purchased with our own money, right? And so I do trade-ins all year, every time, all the time. We have a certain process that we do to where if your device, when you ship it off to the manufacturer, if it gets lost in the mail, we have a certain process that will cover your ass, basically. And I intend on recording on live stream. I have an overhead camera. Check this out. Super cool, man. I got a badass setup now. Watch this. I have an overhead camera. Look at that. So we will do the trade-ins right here with us. You'll be able to follow along, and it's covered our ass twice, as I mentioned, to where they did get lost in the mail, but we did not have to pay anything. Okay, so enough said. Let me share this real quick, and we'll get rolling. Oh, I have a giveaway. How could I forget? I have a giveaway. We're gonna do I have a Google Wi-Fi router. It's their latest and greatest. It's the Google Nest Wi-Fi Pro. I think retails for like $179. If you want it, you can have it. if you win, but we'll do that today. Let me see here. Share on Instagram. We can live stream to Instagram too. I use StreamYard, and I just realized that I can live stream to Instagram. I went ahead and linked my account. We're not streaming live on Instagram right now, but if you want to follow us, we're at eSIM Studios. Now, for the giveaways, you're going to have to be on YouTube, because you're going to have to type a certain keyword in the chat, and that will enter you. But if you're on Instagram, you can just hop on over. I'll provide the link on Instagram if you want to hop over to YouTube and enter in our giveaway. Let's see here. Instagram. There we go. We are live. eSIM Studios YouTube channel. Okay. So I went ahead and sent that out. Now, I apologize for our last live stream. I was in the car. So I was actually on the way to the hospital, but we'll do one. We'll hit up the we'll do the live stream from here in our studio now. Let's see here. Let me put out. I was gonna do this while I live stream. I'm gonna make a video while I live stream, if that makes sense. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to put the devices out here that I have. And we will run a benchmark test, because I have not benchmarked these new devices yet. So we'll benchmark them while I'm doing the live stream, and then we'll check on them and see where they're at. So all of them are updated. All of them shall be updated, right? And I'll put them in order as far as CPU performance. Update. Wow, this Nothing phone's got a lot of updates. We just upgraded to 2 gig. We upgraded to Google Fiber 2 gigabit download speed, so everything should be super fast. Okay, so we're gonna benchmark these and see where they're at, because one of my stories involves the Tensor G3, G4 from Google. And you're definitely going to want to check this news out here in a second. Okay, we'll get that going. And let's see here. Wow, there's a lot of updates. Okay, so while that one is going, which test shall we run? None of these are the benchmarks, are they? They are not. So let's run. Should we do at&t? So this would be the Snapdragon 8 Gen plus 1. So we'll put the oldest on the left. That's a 8 Gen plus 1 Tensor G3, and then Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 here. My 8 Gen 2 I'm actually using as a webcam. So we'll run at&t on here, and we'll run the benchmark test while I'm going over some of these news stories. I think it's at 3D. It didn't start the 3D, did it? version 10.21. That's an older version. Let's clear out all the apps. Alright, so at&t 3D. 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 Why are they different versions? Did a new test come out? You know what? I could do 3D mark. And then wildlife is recommended. Extreme wildlife on the... See, this one can perform better than 99% of phones. So let's do... Wildlife Extreme. Now, how long do these take? Wildlife Extreme, Wildlife Extreme, Wildlife Extreme, Wildlife Extreme. So let's test this one and see where it's at while I do the news. Okay, ready? So we got Nothing Phone 2 with the Snapdragon 8 Gen Plus 1. We have the Pixel 8 Pro with the Tensor G3. We got the S24 Plus with the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3. And then we have S24 Ultra, Snapdragon 8 Gen 3. So let's test these and these. We'll do the news and we'll come back and see where we're at. Okay. I think there is a new version of at&t, but it's all good. Well, these are almost done. Almost done. I'll just go ahead and run at&t after this, and then we'll get into the news. So where did it score? Really? Wildlife, wildlife, wildlife. How long is this going to take? Let's test at&t too. That's one of the more popular ones. Ready, set, go. Okay, so while those test, we'll get into some of the news. Alright, where are we at? Let's see. Let's get into the Samsung display issue. Well, not really an issue. It is to some people, but not to me. I don't even really think it's an issue. Okay, so while those test, let's get into the news. Let's remove this and bring up Samsung has addressed online commenters that are unpleased with their Samsung Galaxy S24, S24 Plus, and S24 Ultra displays. Now, I haven't seen anybody comment in regards to the base S24. It's typically been S24 Ultra users. However, I have seen some S24 Plus users complain that their display is quote-unquote washed out. Now, what I basically chalked it up to is Samsung has typically, in years past, always had a super duper vibrant display, meaning the colors are oversaturated, the colors pop off of the screen, the colors almost look wet. They're so vibrant. Samsung displays are phenomenal. I absolutely love them. And in fact, so does the rest of the industry. Majority of cell phone manufacturers use Samsung for their displays, like Apple, wink wink. Now, you're not always going to get a super saturated, a very vibrant display on iPhones because Apple dials it back, they fine tune it. But on the previous S23 series, S22 series, S21 series, S20 series, the Note 20, the Note 10, all of their flagship devices in the past have been super duper vibrant, and the colors just, as I mentioned, popping off the screen. What I think happened this year, now we're going to get to what Samsung just said, but leading up to this, I think with the S24 series, and I've mentioned this in some previous videos, I believe Samsung just dialed back the saturation, dialed back the vibrancy to a step closer to a true color gamut, or a true color picture, basically. That's why a lot of people love Pixel. Pixel's more of a true color display. But like me, like so many others, that's why people like to use Samsung, because of their displays, because of how colorful they are. So this year, there was a lot of upset people when they got their S24s saying, hey, what's up with this screen? It's not as vibrant as my Note 20 Ultra. It's not as vibrant or saturated as my S23 Ultra. Well, there's been a ton of online chatter, YouTube videos in regards to this. And it's been out for about a couple weeks now, and Samsung finally made a statement. And yes, they are going to fix the issue. So if you returned your phone, I think that was a mistake just because of this display issue. If you have not purchased the device because you are wary of getting a device with a quote-unquote washed out display, you can take a deep breath and finally purchase the device. They are going to fix it. And they are not only going to fix it, they're going to update and make the settings to where you can calibrate the colors back to the old setting, where you can actually see quite a bit of variation in saturation. There is a news article coming out of, who put this out? nextpit.com. They put out an article saying Samsung is going to fix, quote unquote, the boring S24 displays in a new update. Now, I reached out last week to my Samsung rep, or Samsung connection, and asked them the very same thing. I told them I didn't think there was an issue. I told them I absolutely love this display on my S24 Ultra and my S24 Plus. But do you have any plans of making any changes? Do you have any plans of basically doing anything? They responded by saying, we're looking into it, like I knew they were going to say. But they also mentioned in a later reply that they're not only going to look into it, that there should be a correction in a future update. So I said, cool. I relayed that to the viewers of this channel. They didn't say when, they didn't say how, but they said it would get addressed. So I put that out maybe about 4 or 5 days ago in a video, and now the bigger news media outlets are getting the same message, I'm assuming. Now let's see when. Let's hope it's in this February update. That might be too soon, right? Because these are just released, and the developers, Samsung developers, would have to go back into the, I mean, look, I'm sure it's an easy fix, right? I'm sure it's an easy fix. And as I told many viewers of this channel, this is all correctable. This is all fixable. So don't freak out over any of this. This is a very easy problem to solve. Let's see. Is it going to be in this February update? Is it mentioned? Let's see. It says yes. It says that the fix for the screen is likely would likely come as early as this month, and maybe included with the February security patches. So if you're new to Android, or if this is your first Android device, Google releases security patches, right? Security features that basically, if there's any vulnerabilities, this update that Google issues, since Google makes Android, they issue them to the manufacturers with the latest and greatest security software and features and fixes. Those manufacturers get it from Google, like Samsung, like OnePlus, like Nothing, and then they implement their own code into there, and for whatever they need in their software, and then they release it to the public. Well, Google usually gets out their upcoming month's security patch update a month early, right? So if Samsung is just about to release the February security patch, they got this security patch basically a month ago from Google. So they've had time to mess with the code. They've had time to tinker with the display settings, right? So they probably had this and they were modifying it while this device, S24 series, was being released. Then people online started complaining about the display, and I'm assuming that's why it's running late, because today is the 9th of February. Typically, Samsung is right up there with Google as far as updates, software updates, security patches. In some months, Samsung beats Google at issuing security patches. Now, around this time, you usually see your update hit your device by the 9th day of every month. You should have your update. Now, it has not hit, but mine, the S24 Plus or S24 Ultra, I can guarantee you it's just a day or two around the corner, and that's probably why it's a day or two late, because they're fine-tuning the display settings right before they release it. I'm sure everything's written in code and ready to go, and I think they're just fine-tuning the display to issue some extra vividness. So we look forward to that, and as soon as the push update, we will notify you of it if you have a Samsung device, and we will also test it, right? I'm going to update one and not update the other. Now, I know these two different displays. I know these S24 Ultra on the right, S24 Plus on the left. These two displays are very, very similar. They're not exactly the same. Obviously, this one's a 0.1 inches bigger, but as far as the technology and how they work, it's pretty close. But I'm going to update one of these. I'll probably update the Ultra. I'll leave this one on the January patch with the old settings. And then see, compare and contrast, did Samsung, because if I just update them both, I'm not going to have anything to compare it to. So, whenever that gets issued, could be as we speak. I have no idea. I just have no idea, but we will test it and see how the saturation is with these devices. So, stay tuned to eSIM Studios. We will keep you updated if you have a Samsung Galaxy device. We do tons of content on the Samsung Galaxy devices. Now, getting close to the end of the benchmark test here. I got a couple other news articles to get into before we run a drawing. Let's see who's here. Bama Fan, how's it going, brother? Hey, I'm shipping your case after this live stream. I'm gonna run up to the hospital, but I'm gonna drop your case off for you, so it should be on its way here in a few hours. Actually, I was just running a benchmark test between the 4 devices I had within reach. Nothing Phone 2, Pixel 8 Pro, S24 Plus, S24 Ultra. Almost done. I haven't benchmarked them yet. I don't know why, so I thought, what the hell, let's do it right now, and then I'll make a video of this after the live stream is done. I am running a contest, but I want more than one person to enter, so thank you. We just got into, I'm not sure if you were here for the first story, that Samsung officially announced that they are going to address the washed display issue on these S24 devices, that a fix should be in this upcoming February security patch, and I'm assuming that's why it's running a few days late. Samsung's pretty darn good about getting these updates out. Getting close. Let's see what we got. Okay. So the S24 Plus, S24 Ultra. Wow, the S24 Plus scored better than the Ultra. Very interesting. Let's see. I did not expect that. So just under 2 million. So what? 1.92 million was the score of the S24 Plus. 1.9 million the score of the Ultra. And then you got the Tensor. Damn. See, the Nothing Phone 2 with the Snapdragon 8 Gen plus 1 beat the Tensor G3. I do have big news. I have big news. I do have interesting news, I'll put it that way, about the Tensor chips here in the upcoming Google Pixel 9 series. You're definitely going to want to stick around for. My mother, man, it's up and down, man. It's, sometimes she's doing good, sometimes she's not. She's in ICU. She has sepsis, an infection of your blood, and it's been attacking her kidneys. Her kidneys shut down. She's having dialysis daily. Her liver's shutting down, which is not good, obviously. And now they would put her on a list for a, what do you call it? Transplant, but she's not healthy enough to even go through the surgery. So her kidneys are shutting down, her liver's shutting down, and she has infection of the blood, which apparently I had no idea you could get an infection of the blood. I just didn't know, and apparently it's pretty fatal. So the doctors were saying she's got less than a 5% chance. So it doesn't look good, but she's been stable for the last, I don't know, 36 hours, something like that. So thank you. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. Yeah, a lot of people have been real supportive, and that helps. And just just talking about technology, doing my YouTube channel, honestly, is like therapy for me, because it helps me, get my mind off of, not necessarily get my mind off of her, but the stress and all that stuff involved. Helps me think about something else. I'll just put it that way, because you certainly can stress yourself out when a parent is not doing good. But interesting score. Thank you for asking, and thank you for your prayers. I really appreciate it, man. Look at these scores. So the Tensor. Now, the Tensor was not a performance-based CPU. Google lets you know that right out the gate. It's not a performance-based CPU. So it scored 1.17 million. The Nothing Phone 2, 1.3 million. And then the 8 Gen 3 Snapdragon, just under 2 million. So, very interesting scores. Now, there is a... before we get into, actually, you know what? Let's do this. Very interesting scores here, especially for the Pixel, right? Because it's so slow. I take that back. I didn't mean to say that. It's not slow. Google let us know right out the gate that this device was not about speed. It was about not about performance. It was about AI. It was about machine learning. It was learning you, and it's very true. When I used this Pixel, even going back to the 7 Pro, the 7 Pro was one of the smoothest phones I've ever used, right? Because I don't play games. I don't game on my phones, so like maxing out performance is not a high priority of mine. I just want everything to be fast and snappy when I'm opening up apps, when I'm going back and forth between applications. I don't want any stuttering. I don't want any buffering. I want it to be very smooth. And the Pixel has done that, right? It's just when it comes to top-end, high-end performance, sort of like a Ferrari, right? You're thinking of high-speed performance. Pixel's not really that, right? These Snapdragon 8 Gen 3s is like a Ferrari, right? This Tensor chip is basically like, I'm not going to say like you know what? Maybe a Cadillac. It may just be a Cadillac. Right? Nice and smooth. Now, there is a report. Can you see it on the screen? No, you cannot. Watch this. I have big news on the Tensor. Check this out. Now, surprising news. The Daniel, who's a big Pixel fan, who's been joining us the last few days in the chat. Surprised he isn't here, but I'm sure he'll catch this. We were just talking about this, not the last stream, but the stream before, how we were saying, man, I hope this new Pixel CPU, the Tensor G4, is a good one. Well, and then this report came out. Don't know really where to go from here, right? Because look, there was a new Google CPU, and it was spotted on Geekbench, right? Actually, you know what? Let me see. Do we have Geekbench here? It was spotted on Geekbench, and the overall score of the Geekbench, of the final score, scored less than the score of the Tensor G3. So in other words, going backwards, which is not really something to brag about or even bring up. I think, now, who knows, right? Because let's look into this article, right? I'm going to run a Geekbench on these real quick. Give me a second. I love Geekbench. That's my favorite benchmarking app, but I know a lot of people like at&t, so that's why I ran at&t. So where's the Geek Bench? Where is Geek Squad? It was not installed. Only nothing device. Let's do here. Bear with me, bear with me. Gonna run some tests. I gotta turn up the this screen timeout is driving me insane. $30 should give it a. Let's remove this. All right. So let's close out all the other apps here. And let's run tests and see what this does, right? Okay, so while those run Geekbench 6, let's get back into this Tensor chip. What percent, let's see, what are you asking? Let's see, what percentage do you charge your battery, or do you think it really matters? Need mine to last for at least 5 years. Okay. If you have... Okay, so you got a Samsung. Let's see. With this new S24 series, you know what I do? Personally, if you plan on having yours for 5 years, don't do what I do. That doesn't, to me, I know I'm not going to have my device for 5 years. So I'll plug it in at night with no settings or with nothing to... no coverage or no sensitivity, right? Because we'll all go into this device and show you. I'll plug it in at night, and it'll probably, when I go to bed, it'll probably stay on. It'll probably get to 100% in, I don't know, depends on where the battery's at, right? Probably in 45 minutes, just on average. And then it's plugged in at 100 for hours until I wake up. Then I unplug it and then use it, right? If you plan on using your, and thank you, that's a phenomenal question. Here's what I would do. If I'm going to use my device for 5 or more years, I think I can go into this without, I think it's still running in the background, right? Let's see. Oh, son of a bitch. It's alright. I got this chip in this phone, so it's all good. There is a new setting, right? Let me expand this. Let me zoom in a little bit. Ah. Yeah, it's actually good. Okay, so Bama Fan says he let his run down to 5% the other night. That's good. Okay, I'm glad you mentioned that. Because check it out. Here's what I do. When I first get a phone, what I do, it's important. This has been I don't say a myth, but like a kind of an unproven method, but it has been proven in the last year. I can pull up the article. Maybe I'll do that in another video, but check this out. So you actually do want to run it down to 0. What I do when I pull my phone out of the box for the very first time. Now, there's 2 ways of doing this. You need to get it down to 0. But there's 2 ways you can go about it. Because you want to drain it, you want to deplete the entire battery, and then you want to charge it up to 100%. But when you deplete the battery down to 0, you can either pull it out of the box, run it down to 0. So if you pull it out and you turn it on and it's like 86%, you can run it down to 0 from there. Or when you take it out of the box, at some point you can charge it to 100, down to 0, and then back up to 100. Point is, you want to give the device a full battery cycle from 100 to 0 back to 100. That not only it's been proven it does help prolong the battery life and allows your phone to really zero in on the battery health and how to properly and accurately examine your battery health throughout the device's usage, right? So even if you got it down to 5, like the other night, you probably had the phone for 10 days, a week, something like that. It's still okay to run it down to 0 and up. And just as long as, look, and you don't have to, but that is best practice. And if you are going to use it for 5 years, I would 1000% do that. So whenever you can, you don't have to do it like immediately, but maybe over the next week or so, I would run it down to 0 and then charge it up. Or you can charge to 100 when you unplug it, let it run to 0 whenever that is. Hopefully it's around bedtime, and then charge it back up to 100. But Samsung put this brand new setting in their devices, and I think you had the Note 20, right, Ultra? I think it was probably implemented in there as well. Not these brand new settings, but a previous setting. So if you go to settings and then search for battery, let's see. Let me zoom in on here. Where do we go? Battery protection, I believe. Yeah, so should I do it now since I've had it for a week? Yeah, I would do it. Not this second, but maybe in the next day or two. I would definitely do it over the weekend or something like that. So do it to 0 to 100 a couple of times. Honestly, I think one time is enough. I think one time allows your device to basically learn the parameters of your battery, because it knows the size of your battery already, right? It can sense it. It's like programmed into here, so it can tell how big your battery is. But it's important to drain it to 0, charge it back to 100, just so it gets the wide range from 0 to 100, so it knows exactly how to tell your battery health very, very accurately. So if you go to settings, there we go. So simply go to settings, right? Go to your settings app, right? And then in your settings app, just search battery. And then all these battery stuff will pop up. Select battery protection. Now, in here is where you can activate protecting your battery. So it says keeping your battery at a full 100% charge for a long time can reduce its lifespan. Choose an option below to protect your battery and make it last longer. Now, I was just going to get into that. The good old 80%. So when you activate a battery protection, if you plan on having yours for 5 or more years, this is, if you want the very, very best option to absolutely prolong your battery life, look at the very bottom option right here. Your battery will stop charging when it reaches 80%. So that means it'll go down to 0 and die. And then when you plug it in, like if you go to sleep and you wake up in the morning 8 hours later, it's only at 80%. Now, that theoretically, and it has been proven, does prolong your battery life if you only charge it up to 80. Now, don't get me wrong, these are smartphones, right? So if you do not have that activated, right, and you're going 0 to 100, 0, or down, or 5, back up to 100, or if you plug it in at night, your phone's at 100 for like 6 hours like me while it's plugged in, it's not necessarily charging. What it's doing is the chip inside here, the power, where you plug your USB Type-C, it knows your device is at 100. And it's not just going to sit there taking all that power in at while it's still at 100 for hours. It's not going to do that. Now, if you remember the exploding phone fiasco with the Note 7, Samsung learned a lot about that. It's almost a gift and a curse, almost, because they totally revamped. Remember, they recalled all those phones. We got 2 of them, and we had to send them back, right? So your phone will cut off at 100. It'll stay at 100. When it bumps to 99, down to 99, just for literally a split second, it'll give it charge until it reaches 100, and then it'll stay at 100 for a while. When it bumps down to 99, it'll charge it up. Damn, I got a cat here. Hang on. So I would activate this battery protection. Give me 1 second, please. I have a noisy animal in here and nobody else is here. Hang on. Okay, I'm back. Oh shit, I hit my head on the overhead camera. Apologize. So, let's see what you got. When I try to do the battery protection, the adaptive setting is not working. It says server error and can't figure out why it won't work. Huh. So this setting won't work? The adaptive setting. Oh, look, what did mine say? Sleep time. Sleep time is estimated based on your phone's usage patterns. It can take some time to make an accurate estimation. If irregular sleep patterns make it difficult to predict your wake-up time, basic protection may be used temporarily. So adaptive is use maximum while you're asleep and switch to basic before you wake up. Sleep time is estimated based on your phone usage patterns. And then basic is when your battery is charged to 100%, charging will stop until the battery level drops down. Okay, 95. It wasn't 99, it's 95. And then charging will start again. Okay. So I'm assuming, is this the same? Is this the same message you're getting? Because it says the server didn't respond. Try again. Can't figure out why the setting's not working. I've tried clearing cache, partition, clearing customization service cache, and still can't get it to work. Okay. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know why, but I will look into it. While I'm going to go to the hospital in a little bit, and while I'm just sitting there, I will look into that for you. I don't know why it's not working. The only thing I can think of is that when you, because you upgraded from a Note, if I'm not mistaken. The new Android phones typically take up to 2 weeks. Now, it's rare that mine take 2 weeks, but I would say on average a week to 10 days. So like 7 to 10 days for you to have the phone. It learns your usage and optimizes the phone and your usage patterns to properly optimize it, basically, right? So let's hope that's all it is. That might be it, that might not be it, but I will look into that for you. Let me write a note. Or actually, you know what? I don't need to write a note. Let me note it in my phone on my to-do list. And I'll look into that for you, and I should have some sort of an answer for you on the next one. Let's see. Adaptive battery. You said it won't activate. Okay. I'll look into that for you. I don't want to waste too much live time, but it might take me 10-15 minutes to figure it out. So bear with me, but I'll look into that for you and see what I can find. You're very welcome. But that is the Samsung battery feature. Now, in the older phones, mainly S23 and on, they had, I believe, two. Do I have my S23 is my webcam, so I can't compare. Maybe I'll do a video on it, but I think they added a new feature in here. One of these is new. I know that. One of these three options is new that was not there on the previous models, but I'll look into that for you. In fact, I'll do that today, and then I should have an answer or some sort of information for you on the next one. But getting back to the Tensor G3, right? This is kind of embarrassing, and I'm not going to lie to you. Now, with these leaks happen for a reason. They don't just leak on accident. So I don't know if they're planning on a newer, slower CPU for their A series devices. Google changes stuff a lot, for better or for worse. They change names of devices. They change names of programs that they have quite a bit. Look, they just changed their Google Bard, which was a weird name, into Google Gemini just this last week. So they do a lot of changes. They could be working on a special, less performing CPU for their A series devices. I'm not saying that's what it is. I'm just saying that could be the reason for this slower result. Let's see. It says the mysterious Google chip could be the Tensor G4. So it's not 100% the G4. But the Tensor chip had the code name Tokay, which Android Headlines has never heard before, and I've never heard before. And there are hints of it being a Tensor Power G4 product. Let's get into these scores. What were the scores? There are two listings for the possible Tensor G4 chip named 2K on Geekbench 5. That's interesting because we're on Geekbench 6. Published within 20 minutes of each other. So it looks like they ran one test and then ran a second test. The device had 8 gigs of RAM and ran on Android 14. It scored 1,048 and 2,788 points in the first round of single core and multi-core CPU tests, respectively. Second round, it scored 1,082 and 3,121. These aren't the most impressive Geekbench 5 scores. Now, we're running Geekbench 6, and look at these scores. Now, I don't know what Because look, this is the Tensor G3 right here. Oh, y'all can't see. Damn it. So this is the, let's move the Samsung's. This is the Tensor G3 Pixel 8 Pro right here. Pixel 8 Pro, just for proof. And these are the scores. This is the Nothing Phone 2. Just for example, because these two phones don't come close to the Samsung. Now, this one is not really relevant to the story. It's just for comparison. This is the Tensor G3 in the Pixel 8 Pro. This is the Snapdragon 8 Gen Plus 1 in the Nothing Phone 2. And these are the scores, right? So, if we have on the Tensor G3, the current flagship CPU from Google, scored 1766 single core and 3929 multi-core. Now, on that article, what did it say? It says it scored 1048. Wow, that's way under. So this new CPU that was tested scored just over 1,000. And look, the G3, the current one, scored 1766. Multi-core was 2788. Now look at that, 3929. So it's significantly slower. That's not a little slower. That's in the mobile industry world. This G3 blows away this 2K or possible Tensor G4 chip. That's why it's hard for me to believe that this upcoming chip is going to be put in the new Pixel 9 series. Now, it's a possibility, as I mentioned, could be a newer chip they're using for their A series devices to kind of bring the cost down, to be cheaper for Google to manufacture. They can pass those savings on, pass the savings onto the consumer. It's possible that it was not maxed out on the gigahertz, right? Because I think these go up to, what is it, 3.2? What does it max out at? 2.91 is the max gigahertz. So, oh my god. Hang on, guys. Jeez Louise. Maybe they'll make a lower performance tensor. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, that's what I mentioned. That's either they're making a new tensor chip specifically for the A series, which I think, that if you want to ask my honest opinion, that's what I think is going on. There's no way they're putting this in the Pixel 9. They would get laughed out of the building by the whole mobile industry. Honestly, they would with those scores, because it's not just taking a little step back on performance. That's taking a giant leap back. That's falling on their face back step. I mean, the Nothing Phone. I mean, there's phones 3 years old that score better than that. So I don't. And again, Google said it's not about performance. It's about fluidity and usage, right? Which I understand and I totally get. And this Pixel 8 Pro is fast. Now I don't game, as I mentioned, but app to app, stuff like that. It's very, very smooth. So, but these scores are shocking. I can't honestly believe it. So that's what I'm thinking. It's got to be something for a new A series. Give me a second. My cat's freaking out. What do you want? Huh? Okay. what other information do we have here? Let's see. The chipset in question has an octa-core CPU setup. So if you remember, the G3 has 9 cores. So this is sort of a downgrade. However, looking at clock speed, the SoC is fitting to be the successor to the Pixel 8's processor. It has 1 prime CPU core. Check this out. Wait, hold up. It says it's 8 cores. It has 1 prime CPU core operating at 3.1 gigahertz, 3 mid-level cores at 2.6 gigahertz, and 4 efficiency cores clocked at. Okay, so this is definitely, let's see, to recall, the Tensor G3 features 1 prime core clocked at 2.9, 4 Cortex A715 cores at 2.37, and 4 Cortex A510 efficiency cores at 1.7 gigahertz. So the mysterious Google chipset spotted on Geekbench is an upgrade over it. Despite featuring 1 less CPU core, Google could easily pass it off as the Tensor G4 for the Pixel 9 series. There's another reason why it could be a Tensor G4. The codename is entirely a mystery. The Google 2K might be the next foldable or a smaller Pixel 9 Pro. They can't put this in a Pro. No way. Some of you might be like, it could be a custom chip for their next gen tablet. Their next tablet was just leaked. Let's see. Let's see, for example, the G2 powered the 7 Pixel Fold, which features the same chipset, codenamed Felix, but later changed to match the cat family. They used to do fish. Oh, but they're naming their CPU cat family, okay? Codename for the Pixel 8 series is Shiba and Husky. So what is a 2K? What the hell is... you know what? Let's Google. Let's Google TOKAY. Kind of doing a breakdown on live. And we're gonna do a giveaway. If we have more than 1 person, which it looks like we do, I'm doing a giveaway. In fact, it's the right here. Google Nest Wi-Fi Pro router. It's the latest and greatest. I think retails for like $179 at Best Buy. Could be yours for free today. So I'll get the hashtag so y'all can enter it. Give me a second. There is no 2K. Tokay. It's a wine. Huh. It's a gecko. The Tokay gecko? Interesting. I never heard of that. So the hashtag enter hashtag so if you enter this, you can win it. Simply enter that in the chat and you can win the router. So interesting on the Tensor chip. Yeah, it's got to be. It's obviously for a upcoming device. It might be because they've used their Tensor chip flagship chip in a number of their devices, right? The tablet, the Pixel Fold, their Pixel phone series. They might be expanding that now, where they put, custom chips in different series of devices. Now, next year is their last year with Exynos and Samsung. So this may be geared towards a newer device, obviously, down the line. Who knows what it's for? Could be a Pixel tablet, could be for the Pixel 9, right? Just taking a step back in performance, right? They can fine tune these things, so maybe they put it at 50% power, right? Maybe they fine tuned it for 60% power, so it's not getting the full 100% power. So we'll keep our eyes on this one, and I'll definitely keep my eye on this one because I'm really interested to see what this is now. Speaking of new devices and upcoming devices, was it yesterday? The iPhone 16 series iPhone leaked. So we got to first-hand look at what the new iPhone 16s are going to look like. This year the leaks came really early because I don't think it was until they were just released. The 15 series was just released in September, and it's been about maybe it's still early. I think last year we got it around March or April. I put a video out on it, so maybe I'll go back and look. But nonetheless, we got our first look at the iPhone 16. Not the 16 Pro and 16 Pro Max, but the 16 and 16 Plus will look like the device that we reported on yesterday. Today, we have a first-hand look at the new iPhone SE series. Yes, the SE, their affordable line of mobile phones. Phenomenal seller for Apple. They've sold millions and millions of these. Apple puts their flagship CPUs in this little tiny phone, and it is a small phone. If you remember, the iPhone SE is small. Now, this new one's not going to look like the old ones. If you remember, iPhone has gone to all screen. They did away with the touch, with the home button. But their SE, as of 2022, which was the last one they released, still had a home button, right? It had the little, what is it called? It used to call it Touch ID or something. Well, this year, and I'll share the pictures here with you in a second. This year, they are totally doing away with the home button in with Touch ID. This year, it is full screen. Let's take a look at what the new iPhone SE looks like that will be released later this year. There it is. iPhone SE 2024? I think so. 2024 iPhone SE. Interesting. It will have the full display, and it will have the dynamic island, which is interesting. No notch. Full dynamic island. It still has a pretty good sized bezel around here, right? But it does take on the design language of the iPhone 16 series. If you take a look at the iPhone 16, looks pretty similar to this back, except the SE only has one camera. On the iPhone 16 and 16 Plus, it'll have two cameras. Same layout as this. It'll just has one stacked on top of the other, but it will have basically a camera island on the back here with two sensors on the back. And It's pretty similar, right? So I don't know how big the screen is going to be. Let's see if it says how big the screen is going to be. Let's see. How big is the display? It does not say, but I'm assuming it's going to be pretty small. I'm assuming it's still going to be under 6 inches. I would think maybe, what was the size of the older, the 2022? It was like 4.5 inches, right? Let's see, iPhone SE 2022 screen size 4.7. So I think this will come in bigger than that. It'll probably come in like 5.5 inches, I bet, which will still be pretty small form factor. But interesting to see the new iPhone SE leaks are in full effect. So we'll keep an eye on this device and continue with updates. A launch date was not mentioned or leaked either, but I don't know when this will be coming out, but we will keep everybody posted and let you know when the next piece of news comes out. Not a lot of iPhone stuff here, but when news comes across the desk, we certainly keep everybody updated. Now, speaking of Google, as we roll back into Google from Apple, please check for your Google Play System updates. They were neglected. I'm not talking about your app updates in the Play Store. I'm not talking about your software updates with security patches. I'm talking about the Google Play System update. It's an entirely, I just activated my GOOGLE on all my devices. This one is framework. This one is behind the scenes, behind the hood, so to speak, on your Android device. Every Android device, not just Pixel, but this was kind of stuck in limbo, right? Because they were updating them almost every month. I think like every other month or every quarter, but at least every quarter it would get updated. And then we hit like a roadblock. We just hit a roadblock. There wasn't much updates. It seemed like that they were at a standstill for eternity almost. And nothing was getting updated. And then once they finally did start updating them, there were issues on Pixel devices in the past, specifically for Pixel. Now they have resumed the rollouts of the January Google Play System update for Pixel phones specifically to try to catch up with all the other Android devices. The company started the release of the new Google Play System updates last month, but had to pause the rollout when the update caused shortage. Damn, I'm stuttering. Oh, I'm just totally butchering this. Okay, so Google started the release of the Google Play System update last month, but had to pause the rollout when the update caused storage issues for Pixel devices. Google has presumably fixed the problems now, but users affected by the prior issue are still waiting for a proper fix. This issue, if you did get one of the bad updates, you would update your Google Play System, and then it would say like you had some weird storage number, or you were out of storage when in fact you still had like 34 gigabytes left. It was just a very strange glitch that some unfortunate people have been waiting on forever for them to fix, and it looks like they've narrowed it down, pinpointed the issue, and they're just now starting to address it. Let me show you. Let's see. Let me show you how to update Google Play System Update. Very easy. So what you're going to do is get your Pixel or any Android device, but I'm on Pixel right here. Go to your settings, and then you're going to type in the search Google Play System Update. You can see this. I've searched it previously, so go to your settings app, and then in the search, simply type in right here Google Play System Update. It'll take you right to it. Right there, it's highlighting it. Simply click that. Checking for an update. Oh, what do you know? Mine got updated. So simply restart to update. Your device needs to restart to complete the update. Restart now. And once it restarts here, let's check the other ones real quick. I'm on the Nothing Phone 2. And what do you know? That has an update. 70 megabytes is the file size. Just restarted the Pixel. We will download that. It's very important. Now, unfortunately, they do not notify you when an update is available. I don't know why. I think they should, but they don't notify you. What you're going to have to do is simply check yourself. I do once a month. Every time I get a software update. Now, every blue moon, every maybe once a year or something, they'll incorporate the Google Play System update in with a security patch update. But normally you have to do this manually on your own. They don't notify you when one is available. So I just make it a habit whenever I get a software update on one of my devices. After the software update is completed, I'll go back into settings. I'll search for Google Play System Update and see if there's one available. I just recently updated this Nothing Phone 2. And what do you know? There is an update. So, excuse me, we will simply, it's done downloading. And we'll simply hit restart to get it activated. Now, let me check the S24 Plus Google Play System Update. Now look what this one's stuck on. July 1st, right? I don't think it's going to be available. I think it needs, see, it's up to date, which is not true. I think these new Samsung devices will need once it gets updated to the February security patch. These two devices are on the February security patch. Pixel 8 Pro, Nothing Phone 2, and then as you just saw, now the Play System update was available. I think once these Samsungs get the February security patch, I think this will become available, right? Let's check the big boy. Yeah, see. Still in July. Yep, still not ready yet on the Samsung devices. What do you know? I just updated my apps about an hour ago at the beginning of the stream, and now I updated the Google Play system update. I applied the new update, and now there's a ton of new apps available to download for to update. So, all right, I'm gonna have to take off here in just a minute, but let's see, what other news story did I have here? So we got there's a new Google Play system update. Please go check your devices right now, because it is very important for your device to have the latest and greatest Google Play framework. Now, one last little quick story. Android, now I think this is important. This will fly over a lot of people's heads. Not many people are going to mention this. Not many people are going to see this next story. Android 15 is going to introduce an easy mode in the operating system. Now, why do I think this is important? And why do I think it'll go over a lot of people's heads? Because the people that use Android, like you and I, we know it like the back of our hands. There are some people, more specifically elderly or people that aren't used to Android, right? So maybe you're an iPhone user and you're switching to Android, but you want to get used to it first, right? Because let me tell you, these Samsung phones here, God, there's so many settings, there's so many options, there's so many things you can change. I get lost in the settings app sometimes. You can go 5, 6, 7, 8 pages deep into settings in the settings app and forget where something is or forget where you are. If they had this easy mode, I think it would make a lot more people feel comfortable using Android and/or a Samsung device. Because here's the deal, because like my parents, I got them all Pixel 7As, so it's easy. Pixel is easy. However, it does have a number of settings and customization options. For some people it's a little intimidating, and I get it. I completely understand. Or even an iPhone user, if they want to switch to Android or give it a try, could be intimidating because there are a ton of options and customization settings. So if you're a potential iPhone user or you're elderly and you want to get a new phone or switch to Android, an easy mode would make the transition of getting either a new phone or moving to Android a lot easier for that user. So after they get a new phone, remember this is Android 15, so this time next year, it would make the transition so much easier. They could use this easy mode for, God, I don't know, probably a few months, and then simply switch to regular mode once they get a hang of it. So I think this is a phenomenal idea. I've always wanted them, and I say them, but I mean I've always wanted to Google, Samsung, somebody to put an easy mode on their device. Okay, easy mode it is, and I am easy out of here. I gotta go to the hospital, so I appreciate you joining us. eSIM Studios podcast, live stream. Try to do it daily, every day around 4 p.m. So I will catch you on the next one. I guess nobody wanted the Wi-Fi router, so we will do the giveaway on the next live stream. So if you want the Google Nest Wi-Fi Pro, make sure you tune in, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notifications. You will be notified when we do go live, and then you can enter to win the Google Nest Wi-Fi Pro on the next live stream. But for now, my name is Taylor Bell, and this is eSIM Studios. Appreciate the time, and I will see you tomorrow. Peace out.